the funny thing about all that kind of stuff is that there are people that really believe this stuff. I'm one of them, you're one of them, and it kind of forces you to wanna sleep with the lights on, you know what I'm saying? Because this stuff is cultural, and as you can probably attest to, Gigi, there's a lot of different cultures with this kind of, these kind of ghosts. Do you know any cultures like that that kinda have these weird ghosts that have encapsulated a whole culture, like, for thousands and thousands of years?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have the Japanese Yuri, for
Oh, yeah.
instance. They're like restless spirit that are usually depicted in like white garments, and they kind of like they linger when they have unfinished business, or it's like a
Heard
tortured
of it. Yeah.
soul. Um, and that's like I know Japan and, like, China, they, like, often honor their dead with, like, lantern festivals and, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Japanese have a
true.
lot of, spirits um, in their
And if
mythology
you
and
guys
religion.
right, and if you guys know this to be true, spirits linger. Like, if they have unfinished business or they feel like there's something more, they'll stick around until they finish that business. That's very true. In my culture, Creoles, especially as a water sign Creole, I happen to be a Cancer, zodiac wise or whatever, but I can feel it. Like, I can feel the presence of different kinds of energies. Everything's a wave. Either it's a high frequency or a low frequency, and you can feel it. Like, I recently had one of my best friends passed away, and I can still feel that presence around. Like, this morning I was waking up and I felt like something, and it could have been one of those things where you have that weird paralysis where you're kind of awake, kind of asleep, but whatever. But I felt like something was hugging me, like hugging me down, and I felt warmth to it. Like I knew it was I knew it was my friend. You can just certain people when they come around their aura. You know what I'm saying? And I've always been that way. But the Yuri in Japanese culture, they're usually associated with tragic stories like betrayals and untimely deaths. And it makes you wonder who's haunting the average commuter on the Tokyo subway. Like, who are these people, right? Because if you think about it, have you ever seen that movie, The Ring,
Oh, yeah.
Gigi? So there's The Ring, and then there's the other one where what's it called? Where she had her black hair over her eyes, and she was up in the corners, and her
The Grudge.
The Grudge. you know, that shit is to me, it's real. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, so for me, I don't believe that kind of stuff is real. I don't believe in poltergeists. I feel like there would be more instances and like stories about it versus
Mhm.
like, oh, it ended up that that person was schizophrenic or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, no, I do believe in like ghosts where like we kind of like I guess intertwine with each other. Like
Mhm.
I don't know because it's hard to say because like I did witness like the ghost shaking the racks and I've camped in Gettysburg and at night I've heard soldiers walking around and horses walking through the water
Mhm.
very clearly. Like you hear the water splashing. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to
I mean,
say.
but if you're from where you were raised up in the top east near I mean, were you near New Jersey?
A
Is that
couple
kinda
hours
where
from Jersey, maybe like I could get to Jersey within 2 3 hours.
okay, so you must have heard of the Jersey Devil, because if you're up that far and near that kinda Upper East Side, Upper East corner of the United States, the Jersey Devil is a huge apparition that's been spotted over 2,000 times since the 1700s, and that motherfucker, we won't go into it, but that shit's crazy, crazy. If you guys out there, our audience, if you've ever heard of the Jersey Devil, we wanna hear from you. We wanna know what is that? Like, what is the situation? What it looks like? You can always reach us at let me take you higher podcast at gmail.com. If you have pictures, that'd be amazing. And we'll probably do a part two. But that's one of the most popular monsters. The Jersey Devil has become like a folklore. It's gold, with reports of ranging from eerie howls in the Pine Barrens to sightings of a creature with hooves and a bat like wings. I mean, what do you guys think? What do you think, Gigi? Could that really be out there?
Hold on, I'm getting a lot of feedback on my end. I'm sorry. What was your question?
Well, I mean, the Jersey Devil. So The Jersey Devil is like this thing, it has, like, bat wings and hooves and, like, claws, and it's kinda up to the Upper East Side of where you're from, of course. Have you ever heard of the Jersey Devil?
Actually, I haven't.
You've
Kinda
never
sounds
heard of
like
the
a
Jersey
lot.
Devil?
Yes, kinda sounds like, oh, what is that called from, oh, man.
With the from the you mean are you talking about the show Supernatural? Where they had all
No,
okay.
no. It's that, Jeepers Creepers, I think,
Oh, dude, that is I think they molded the Jeeper Creeper. The Creeper is what they call him, and I used to know a guy who looked just like the Creeper. He's still alive.
oh,
So he's
wow.
not a ghost, he's really real. But, they modeled him after the Creeper, and that's great. That's one of my favorite, monster movies, and we're getting into that time, the autumn and fall, where Halloween's upon us, and we see these things. I mean, if you look down south to us from Texas, you have Mexico, right? And Mexico, let's talk about it, the chupacabra. Have you ever heard of the chupacabra?
Oh, absolutely, I've heard the
Uh,
Chupacabra.
okay. So it's like a big ass Batman. No, it's not Batman. It's like a bat that's a man with these crazy claws, and it sucks the blood out of everybody. And this originates from Puerto Rico, just so you know. This creature has been blamed for deaths of livestock since the 1990s, leading to wild speculation about what it really is. I mean, what do you think the chupacabra is, Gigi?
Um, I mean, I've always heard of it more, like, described as, like, man, kind of like the size of, like, I don't wanna say a Wolverine, I wanna
Like
say
a
more like
Buick?
probably like a bobcat, like a small mountain
Yeah.
lion type of
Mhm.
size, and
Yeah.
then, yeah, what you said, like, it kinda, like, stalks things at night. Usually
Yeah.
from what I've heard, attacks, like, livestock, sucks the blood out of them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no,
They
it's
call it they call it the goat sucker. It really likes
yeah,
goats. I mean, you've had goat cheese, so you gotta know you know why he likes the damn goats. And I've had, veal and lamb, so I know why he likes them fucking goats.
it's good stuff.
But it yeah, it's what's up. But for what they say, he's like a reptilian monster, and others say he's like a hairless dog, just like those little chihuahuas, little angry, ankle
Yeah, that's
biters.
how I've always heard it described as.
Yeah, like a little bitty hairless little chihuahua. But, I mean, the legend has grown over, I mean, years, and it's an international phenomenon. But what I would say, you gotta admire the creativity of people behind these sightings. It's like the ultimate game of telephone, right? We're very they keep on retelling these stories, and they make it more scarier and scarier. It's kinda like the lighthearted ghost encounters. And if you've ever seen this guy now, if you guys are, in the audience, have heard of this movie called The Deliverance, it's got, who's it got in there? It has, Glenn Coco. Everybody knows Glenn Coco. It also has in there, I think her name is, Monique, and it's like the hit, the rage of Netflix. Now, Netflix isn't a sponsor, but if a movie's good, I'm gonna call it out. You guys need to see it. It has a line in there that's hilarious, which I won't repeat on our podcast today because it's a little derogatory, a little slur, a little racist, but it is what it is. But Gigi, I mean, coming from the Northeast, there's a lot of stuff going up there in the Northeast. Like, I've heard of crazy stuff. Have you ever been out in the woods at night and you heard something crazy aside from the Grim Reaper?
Being out in the woods, yes. I'm
Okay.
trying to think. Not necessarily out in the woods, but me and my friend once, we felt like we were once stalked by, like, the ghost dog.
The ghost
So,
dog.
yeah,
What's that?
so we were walking home from my friend's house, who, mind you, our neighbor whose house that we were walking home from, her house was built in the late 1700s.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, and, ironically, it was a house used to quarter slaves. So, it's a
Oh, yeah.
very old house with a lot of history. So, it was, like, in the middle of the night, I think I was maybe 13 at the oldest,
Mhm.
and my friend Ryan was maybe 11 or 12, and we're walking, and I just hear, like, some kind of, like, jingling. So
Oh,
I
like
turn
chains or something? Or
Yeah, like a dog collar, but, like, like,
oh,
I didn't know what it was, so I turned and I saw, again, in the middle of the night, it looked like a black outline of a dog, and the collar was, like, lit up. And that's the only thing I could really see is the collar, and that kinda, like, outlined the dog. Very looked very demonic.